Welcome to the section view demo. We're going to be going over chapter 10 section views. In order to demo this, I'm going to do number 2, the sleeve, on page 331 of your textbook. So we're going to start this out by actually modeling the part before we get to the section view. So in order to start any new part, I need to go up here to new, and then we need to choose English or metric for this. So I'm going to choose English, and I'm going to choose a standard inch part, and then create. Once we have our window, we could start our first 2D sketch. Choose our XY plane. From here, I'm just going to draw a regular circle. I'm going to do the diameter of our right view there, and that's 2.88. Hit enter, and I'm going to finish my sketch. I'm going to zoom out here using the cube to get a better view of my circle. Now I'm going to extrude that to the thickness of my object. That's going to be 3.24. So I like using a drop down inside of here. You're also welcome to use this portion down here if you'd like to. 3.24. Now I'm going to hit OK. Now I see a couple different things I'm going to need to do. So I need a chamfer on each side. It says a 0.06 times 45 degrees in 2 places. So I'm going to start out by doing that chamfer. So I'm going to select chamfer. I'm going to change my distance to 0.06. I'm going to look up here, and I have a distance of 0.06 to 0.06, and that's going to make our 45 degree angle. So I could leave it at this option. And it says to select my edge. I'm going to select my edge down here, and that's going to put our 0.06 chamfer on there. Now, I also want this edge back here selected to do it on both. So I'm just going to select both at the same time. I'm going to hit OK. Now we have both our chamfers done. The next thing I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to put a hole through this entire object. So I could use my hole function. I'm going to use hole. And I could place the hole anywhere on this face. I'm going to select my circle to center it, make it a concentric circle, and then I just have to set my diameter of that hole. And if I'm looking correctly, that diameter of that hole is 1. So I'm going to set that to 1, hit OK. Now I have that diameter. Now if we're looking at our drawing, we also have another hole inside of there. In order to get that, I think the easiest way is going to be to put a plane in the middle of this. Let's see if we could do that. So I'm going to do a plane option, and then I'm going to do mid-plane between 2 planes. So if I click that, I could choose one plane over here. And I'm going to spin this around just to make sure I'm clicking the opposite side to make sure it's correct. I'm going to do the opposite plane. So I placed a work plane in the middle for us. So now off that plane, I could start a sketch off this work plane. Okay, now I'm going to do a circle. I'm going to make it that diameter. So that diameter is 1.38. 1.38. Hit enter. I'm going to finish my sketch. Now off that circle inside there, I want to extrude that. I want to go both ways with that. Okay, I could use symmetric or asymmetric, either one. It's going to do the same exact thing for me. And asymmetric, I want to go 1 inch both ways because we have a 2 inches from the center point. Now I need to make sure that this isn't joined, but it's cutting it out in that center in order to actually make sure that we're making that slot inside of there. Now I'm going to hit OK. Now I have my cut inside of there. Should have multiple circles inside there, and I could see my piece if I hover it over it inside there. Next thing I notice is that we have to get a fillet on the inside circles there. So I'm going to select my fillet option. I'm going to set my radius to 0.12. I'm going to come in here, and I could see that this is the circle coming from here, and then I have a bigger circle. If I hover over here, I should just get an imaginary line of that inside circle we just created, and I should just be able to click it. It's automatically going to create that fillet for us. And we're going to come over here and do the same thing to the other side. And we're going to create that fillet on the inside of that 0.12. I'm going to hit OK. So now we have the fillet on the inside. I believe the last thing we need to do is the hole on the top center. So in order to get that, the easiest way that I found is actually using one of the planes that we started with. The XZ plane is going to be the easiest. So I'm going to come over here to my browser bar, make sure you drop down from origin, and we're actually going to start a 2D sketch and just click this XZ plane, and it's going to automatically move to that for you. So I'm going to hit top on my square to center this up, and I could just click the circle command, come off the center line of my top, come off the center line of my side, and they'll link up to that center, and then I could just draw my circle. That's going to be 0.187 diameter. I'm going to hit enter, finish my sketch, and I can see right now that that circle's inside the middle right there. I'm going to want to extrude that all the way through the top, so I could either move that arrow up or I could change this to all, and I want to do a cut in order to make sure that I'm cutting a hole out in the top of this. Hit OK, and now we have our object. So now that we have our object, I'm going to save this, file, save as, save it into my engineering design folder. I'm going to do 10-2. Now that I have my file saved, now we want to get over to our drawing. So I'm going to do a file open, and we're going to open up A-size LT, open, and I'm going to place my base view. So just looking at my drawing inside my book, I know that this should not be my base view. My base view should be this side right here. So I'm going to use that as my base view. Mattering it be your right or your front side. I'm going to do a 1-to-1 scale because that looks appropriate for this drawing sheet. And then once I have my base view, I'm going to hit OK. Now my base view is set there. I'm going to need to actually start my section view. So in order to start a section view, I'm going to come up here to create section view. I'm going to click that. Now at this point, it's asking me what view I want to use if I didn't already have this selected. So I selected it, and then I selected section. But if I don't have that selected and I just click section, it's going to ask me what view. So I have to click this view. And now if I look at my drawing, I do see something that says the letter A next to it and arrows that are coming straight through the middle of the object. Now that's going to be our actual section view. So I need to link up with the center of this hole. It's going to come up here, a little further up, about a 1/4 inch up. I'm going to click. I'm going to draw straight down, about a 1/4 inch down. I'm going to click again. And now I'm going to do the same thing that we had to do in order to create projected views. I'm going to right click, and then I'm going to hit continue. Now this should start to be looking like your book. If I come to the right side of my image, I should get those arrows facing the left side. Now I'm going to get a couple different things. I'm going to get cut edges, set edges as jagged, set edges as smooth. We want to make sure we're smooth. Could include the slice. We will always want to do a full section depth for this. View identifier, that's going to be the letter we use. So we could see in our book that it's lettered as A. If I was doing multiple section views, we would change our view identifier, and then also the scale of our view that we're using. So I'm just going to come out here and I'm going to left click, and it's going to create our section view for us. So now I could go back and start dimensioning everything and have a completed view.